You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. Welcome back to episode 49 of the Primal Armor Podcast. Today's episode will be a reality check for some people, because we're going to be talking about different parenting styles and how your experiences as a child shape how you parent today. Every parent was a child at one time, and whether you liked your childhood or you hated your childhood, it still influences how you're a parent today. And even if you aren't a parent yet, it still influences on how you will be a parent one day. Or maybe it even swayed your opinion to not have kids at all. But everyone's childhood plays a part in how and why they parent the way that they do. Have you ever sat there for a second and thought about, after I said that or after I did that, I really sounded or acted like my mom or dad used to? Or even heard your spouse or someone else say that you're just like your parents? It's because so much of your childhood influences every single thing that we do for the rest of our lives. And that's why being a parent is the hardest, yet most important job you'll ever have in your entire life. You can make or break your kid for their entire life by the way you choose to treat them and choose to raise them. If you had a sucky childhood, that doesn't mean you have to continue that on for another generation. A lot of people use the excuse that I wasn't born into money or I wasn't given the silver spoon. But that's all that is. It's an excuse. You should want to work harder to earn that better life and earn that respect from your family and to give them a life that you never had growing up. Hardship doesn't have to carry on for generations after generations. It only does if you allow it to. And it doesn't even have to be a money factor. Some kids have sucky childhoods because their parents aren't involved in their lives. And that can be because of disinterest or even working too much. I saw a post the other day that hit me hard. And it's just because my grandma never missed a sporting event of mine when I grew up until she passed away. And my parents made it to every single sporting event I ever had as well. That post said, your kid will never forget you cheering at one of their games. But your boss will forget you leaving early from work that day. Parenting is a lot about priorities and what you make more important than the next. Your kid should be everything to you. And you've only got 18 years with them until they're off on their own. And even less years of them in school. And even less than that in sports. But you got 30 plus years or more of work. You get a lot less time to enjoy your kid's childhood. So don't blink and regret that one day you didn't do more for them. Money is great. But what makes a child and a family feel fulfilled is when their parents are all in on them. And they give them the support and what they need to grow up. Too many people worry about the things that don't matter in life. Your boss would replace you tomorrow if you left. But your kids can never replace you. Ever. So make them the priority, just like you're the priority in their life. Don't let your kids have a sucky childhood. Invest your time and your energy into them. And that's the best way to raise a kid, is to give them your time. And that means quality time. So much of communication is nonverbal. So imagine what your kid feels when you can't even give them the time of day to look up from your phone or to set your phone down to talk to them. Facebook will still be there. Instagram will still be there. The news will still be there. But the fact is, your kid won't always be there. So don't waste that time and try to wish it back later. And with that quality time, set good examples for them. I know a lot of people that had sucky childhoods because they would get bitched out 24/7 by their parents. I know you don't like when someone does that to you, so why would you do that to them? A lot of people carry habits like these down from previous generations because that's how they grew up, with hateful fathers that worked all the time, but that's not how to parent, and that's not how to treat your family. And that's straight up bullshit. And I would say that to any single dad out there face to face, especially after having my daughter. Seeing shitbag parents out there just fires me up, and I'd do anything to stop that. And you should too, so don't let that be you. If you had a crappy childhood, use that as a learning example of what not to do. And that's how you can use your childhood to parent better. You know what you didn't like and you didn't want from your childhood. So now channel that energy into how you parent, and your kid will thank you for it. And if you're someone who had a good childhood, or even just certain glimpses that you remember as a kid that were good, make sure to carry those on. Like I said, my parents made it to all my sporting events, and that was huge to me growing up. And now I want to do that for my daughter one day, because I know how much that means. I live in a really rural area, so my mom and I would go out to town every weekend and hang out. And so many of my childhood memories come from those trips, and I want to continue those with my daughter too. My dad used to take me hiking when I was a kid, and we've already started doing that regularly with my daughter. It's the good experiences in life that I want to give to my daughter so she can enjoy her life, but also carry that one day onto the next generation after her. Being a parent is a lot about what your parents did for you, good or bad. It influences you in some sort of way. So the way that you're parenting now not only affects your kids, it affects your grandkids, and their kids, and their kids, and so on and so forth. So that means you need to break the bad habits now while you can and keep pushing the good ones. One day your kids will thank you for it, and years down the road, your grandkids will too. So this is a reality check for some people. Put that phone down when you're with your kids. There's nothing on that phone that's more important than them. Quit cursing around your kids and start teaching them new things. Read them books, play games, start traditions. Just have quality time with them and do things that they'll remember forever. If you're hateful and too busy for them, they'll learn those traits early and be like that themselves. Our kids watch and listen every single move that we do and learn from it. So be positive and be engaged so they are too. And this is something that I want to challenge you guys to do, is to do a little more introspection again this week and figure out something that you can do better to be a better parent. Everyone can put the phone down and put technology down more. If you're listening to this, it's on some sort of technology. And I don't even care if that means you have to stop listening to this podcast to make this change. If you set your phone down and become a better parent because of it, my entire mission here has been fulfilled. Shitbag parents fire me up more than anything in the entire world, and I'll do whatever it takes to combat that. If that means you stop listening to this podcast to go technology free for a bit, then that makes me happier than getting new followers or keeping my followers. Because that means I made a change, and your kid is better because of it. I know I'd do anything for my daughter, and I literally mean anything, because I love her more than life itself. And I want to help make your kid's life better too, because I know how much I love mine. And in return, I know how much you love yours. So I just want to give our kids a better life and a better world to live in. So again, do a little introspection this week and figure out one thing that you can be doing to be better as a parent, and then continue to build on that. So you can build on that for future generations for your entire family. We'll all be better because of it. You know what one of the best parts about being a dad is? Obviously the terrible and corny dad jokes. And we've got another one this week. Last week's was on a funny yet somewhat gross subject for some people. But like I said, if a listener submits a good joke and it's really good, it'll be on the show. So don't hesitate to be part of the Primal Armor podcast. This week's joke is, which days are the strongest? Saturday and Sunday, because the rest are weekdays. Are you looking for the ultimate home gym setup? Upgrade to Surplus Strength. Surplus Strength provides custom gym spaces, universal pulley systems, and other gym attachments for your home gym. Visit surplusstrength.com today. Before we end today's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Anchor Podcasts. They distribute this podcast, you guys, in just about any platform you may try to find us on, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. All the recording, editing, and final touches are also done through Anchor, which makes getting the Primal Armor podcast out to you guys very quick, easy, and mobile. You guys can also submit questions or voice messages that I can add to our next episode. Go download the Anchor.fm app today to check out what it's all about. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.